everyone, and welcome to Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails, the weekly podcast that helps you grow your business, improve your life, and enjoy yourself along the way. I'm your host, Alan Langer, and every week we try to bring you the best thought leaders, the best business leaders, and the best minds out there to help you succeed in business and in life. So sit back, relax, grab your pad, your pen, and your favorite beverage, and enjoy the next episode of Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. This is your host, Alan Langer. And guess what? Episode 53 tonight. Can you believe it? 53 podcast episodes I have done. I've enjoyed every single one of them. But tonight, I'm really excited because I have like a star in the house. She has like 25,000 followers on LinkedIn. This is like big time for me. So
big time.
This is big time. Mandy McEWEN of Mod Girl Marketing is joining me tonight. And I am so excited about that. I've been trying to, she's like, trying to get like Shaquille O'Neal. Like I had to book this 8 months ago, but she's finally here. And before we get to Mandy, I just want to mention, as I do every week, the podcast website is marketingandsalespodcast.com. And if you go to the website, go to the top, click the Ask Alan segment, send me a question. And we've got a great question coming up later tonight. If I pick your question and we read it on the air, you get a free signed copy of my book. So without any further delay, Mandy McEWEN, welcome to the show tonight. How are you?
I am good. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm very excited. I was looking forward to this for a long, long time. So thanks for being here. I know you're a busy lady. So tell us about Mandy McEWEN, how you started and how you became who you are and this awesome Mod Girl marketing that you started. You're an award-winning digital marketing agency. You're kind of, a renowned content creator. You're all over LinkedIn. You got a bunch of followers. How did you get to where you are right now?
Yeah, loaded question, Alan. So we might be here all night if I went through.
It's all right. There's no time limit on this podcast.
I know, right? I'll give you the short version. So, did not major in marketing at all. I've never worked for an agency. I have zero official marketing backgrounds. Wanted to be a school psychologist, majored in psych and Spanish, actually. Wanted to be a school psychologist. Yep. Lived in Spain for a bit, studied abroad, graduated early, wanted to go to graduate school. And I thought, I'm pretty smart kid. Thought I was smart enough to succeed at the GRE, which is required to get into graduate school. So I didn't study, I failed it miserably. Not a good idea. And my ego was like, screw that. I don't need graduate school. I'm going to get a job. So I did sales jobs and then quickly realized that like my entrepreneur blood was running like crazy and I didn't like working for people, right? Not that I have authority issues or anything, but I like doing my own thing, right? Like I want to make my own money and do my own thing. So instantly, almost the moment I got a real job, started Googling how to make money online, like everyone else and their dog Googles at one point in their life, like literally how to make money online. Yeah. So bought some courses, ended up being like a self-taught web designer / SEO expert is what I kind of fell in love with. So I did HTML websites from scratch back in the day, like an idiot before knowing that WordPress existed. Wow. Yeah. And so I would build these affiliate marketing is what drew me in. So I was buying these courses from these affiliate marketers with their Ferraris and they're like, 12 women in bikinis and, all that traditional old school online marketing. Yes, I fell for it hard. So it worked though. Like I made money, but it wasn't enough to quit my job. Right. And make a living off of it.
You weren't able to get a Ferrari and have a bunch of people in bikinis.
Not even like a Kia, man. Like it was pretty sad. So I heard in my sales job, home improvement sales, these business owners, these roofers and contractors, like complaining and bitching about their SEO guys and their web designers, which of course were all dudes, because no females even did this back in the day, right? Yeah. Or hardly any, none that I knew at least. And I was like, I can do this, right? Because I was doing it on the side already, making measly commissions. So like a light bulb moment, I'm like, oh, I could do this for small business owners. So I started emailing them and random small business owners like chiropractors and roofers. I was like, hey, I can get you on page 1 in Google for free. And you pay me $500 when I get you there. I'll get you in the top 5, just pay me $500 when we're done. And it worked. And then they hired me to do their websites. And then they told their friends. And this was in Kansas City, which is a very Amazing community of business owners and very tight knit, just amazing peeps in Kansas City. And it kind of like took off from there, just from offering free services, kind of like an experiment. Like, I'm going to see if this works. And I was like, oh shit, I think I have a business here. This is awesome.
And how long ago was this?
2010.
Okay. So 11 years ago.
11 years ago. Yep. And then I started getting enough business where I was like, oh God, I need some help. So Fiverr, good old Fiverr, Fiverr.com, my first hire ever, ended up being a full-time employee for me, like payroll. From Fiverr years later. Wow. And I actually, the creator of my logo, Mod Girl, Fiverr. Dion.
No kidding.
I still talk to him. I actually just used him for my new brand, like for ideas and stuff. So I kept a relationship with him for 11 years. Crazy. So Fiverr like really helped start my agency, believe it or not. It was like gold back in the day though, because it was brand new and so it was a lot easier to find quality work. But whenever people dog on Fiverr, I'm like, I should be like a spokesperson for them. Seriously.
Oh, I've had some, I've used them a few times, but I've had some success, very, very good success. Like there's some talented people on there.
There's a lot of talented people. You just have to know, you have to be smart about it. Right. So anyway, that's really how it started. And then I ended up going, instead of local business, I went national. I started ranking my own stuff in SEO. I learned some stuff from Kansas City peeps that were doing like white label mobile marketing. And I was like, what the hell is white label? And so they explained it to me, you do services for another agency and they don't even know their clients don't even know Mod Grow exists. Like the agency hires you and you white label it. Oh, okay, I'll try it. So I made myself number one. I'm still, if you type in like white label online marketing, I might still be on the first page of Google. I was number one for years.
Really?
Which got me in the door for these bigger agencies that would hire me. And that's how I learned so much, first of all, too, because they would kind of like mentor me indirectly, right?
Sure.
I'm 23-year-old, not really knowing what I'm doing, like really great at what I do and an excellent marketer. But as far as business goes, I had no clue what I was doing. Right. So that helped in so many ways and allowed me to get really super experienced pretty quickly, working with these other agencies. And so then it just blew into what it is now.
Wow. Well, before we continue, because this is my 8th podcast of the day, I totally forgot to ask you what you're drinking.
Oh, yeah. I forgot too.
This is over cocktail. So what do you got there?
This is LaCroix, or however you want to say it, LaCroix, and my good friend's his moonshine, Grappa moonshine.
Oh, nice. Well, I have amazing. A little Reposado tequila. So a little virtual cheers into the camera.
Cheers.
So thanks for joining me again. Have a little sip.
Please tell me you haven't been drinking all day.
No. This is the only. I had one. This is my second one I've recorded for me today. The other ones were I was invited on. So the one earlier, I was going to do a tequila. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I can't do that. It's only 5:00 in the afternoon. So I just did a beer at that one. So, and I'm not even a beer drinker, but I'm like, I had no wine in the house. I'm like, I'll just do a shitty beer, but that's fine.
A shitty beer. I didn't want to bust open a whole bottle of wine just for me. I was like, that's kind of rude for the wine bottle.
No, that's the moonshine. So. I don't think I've ever had moonshine on the show. So you might be a first with that.
I thought so. I was like, I'm going to bust out Todd's Grappa moonshine. It's so smooth. Like it's amazing. It's dangerous though, because it's so strong. So he owns a winery and a distillery here in Northern California. And his stuff is phenomenal, but all of his stuff is potent. So like one little bit and you're like, ooh, okay.
That's if you have like high proof and it's smooth, that's some dangerous stuff right there.
Yep, it is indeed.
Here's a quick funny story on my podcast. I interview, her name is Shiley Hakimian. She's a social media guru. She's a riot, but she doesn't really drink. She's like drinks twice a year. So she gets all excited for being invited on the podcast. She's like, I'll just, whatever I have in my house, I'll put it on my desk and you just tell me what to drink. So she's sitting there with like 4 bottles of tequila. She had like peach schnapps. She had all these weird
schnapps.
And she's like, all right, I'm going to do a shot of this. I'm like, Shiley, you got to slow down. She's like doing shots. It was a riot. It was really
That's fun. Amazing. Did she feel excellent at the end of the show?
I had to slow her down a little bit at the end, but it was a lot of fun. It was probably one of the funnest shows I've had. So it was good stuff.
I love it.
So tell me, I know you have a new brand coming out. I want to talk about that for a few minutes, but tell me about Mod Girl. Like, tell me why, what made you different? What made you why do people hire you? What makes Mod Girl, the badass marketing agency that it is?
Aside from the name,
aside from the name is awesome.
We're focused on organic and we do things differently than everyone else. So we're all about the humans behind the brands, right? So that's why we focus on the people, the personal brands. So building up personal brands inside of organizations or for individuals. And so we are about taking people's geniuses from their brains and their passions and sharing it with the world in a way that resonates and impacts and influences, which of course all comes back to the company and the individual. And it's just a snowball effect. And people see you as the trusted team, the trusted company, the trusted individual, and you're sharing all these things in a meaningful way, and you're opening yourself up, a little bit too, personally, when it comes to why you do what you do and your passions. And we just we that's what we do. We love doing this. And so we are building brands by leveraging the human beings within these brands.
That's so smart, because it's such a different tactic. Like, everyone's like, I got to do Google ads, I got to do Facebook ads, and, organic marketing, especially on LinkedIn,
yes,
is so powerful. It's just so powerful, because you can know the exact same amount of info. Let's say you're I don't know, you're a plumber, and you have 10 years experience, and you never put yourself on social media, and the same exact plumber who has 10 years experience goes on social media and gives tips every day. Who do you think is going to be viewed as more of the expert?
Yeah, for sure. Even if the guy is an idiot that shares the tips every day, right?
Absolutely.
Even if he's horrible, it doesn't matter. He's going to win,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just, you get out there, you put yourself out there, and you just put out some valuable content and some tips, and you're going to be viewed as the expert every single time. That's cool that you really focus on that. Okay. So what's this new brand you're talking about? What are you launching?
Okay, so Mod Girl, the umbrella, like Mod Girl in general, we have B2C clients, we have B2B clients, we do some Instagram stuff, we do some Facebook stuff, we even do some paid stuff, right? So we are technically a full service agency, but we focus more on the personal branding side. So I wanted it to be super crystal clear that our LinkedIn personal branding is like what it is. Because if you go to Mod Girl, we've worked with tons of different companies over the years, and we have a lot of different capabilities. So Luminetics is the new brand, and that is the LinkedIn specific personal branding solution that we provide for individuals and companies. So that's the division of Mod Girl, if you will, Luminetics.
And so Luminetics is under the Mod Girl umbrella, and it's going to focus strictly on LinkedIn organic marketing. Or branding. Okay.
Yep. So, but both. We do tons of content marketing. So building influential personal brands for teams and high-performing professionals is what we do. Leveraging LinkedIn. But we leverage Twitter, and it depends. We'll cross-post to Facebook and stuff too. So it's not like we won't touch anything else but LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is the focus, because our clients, that's where the gold is for our clients, right? Like that's where their people are. But there's still gold to be mined on Twitter, and some people want to post it on Facebook, and that's totally fine. But yeah, we focus on really amazing thought leadership content as the bulk of what we do. So of course we overhaul LinkedIn profiles. We come up with amazing strategies to connect and engage and all of that. And then we physically implement, creating content for them. We interview their executive teams and turn it into Zoom videos, right? Like you and I are doing right here, right? Except for I wouldn't be on it. It would just be them, right? So we ask them questions and make awesome video clips from that. And then we just create content for them, thought leadership content. And we take their amazing, knowledge and experience, and we put it, not down on paper, but on the internet, the new paper. And then we post content, and we kind of train them on how to engage properly and what to do and how to get their employees involved if it's a company, right? So we do this on the individual level for C-suite executives and entrepreneurs, and then we also do this for teams. So how can corporate companies involve their team members with stuff like this, right? There's so much leverage out there that companies are just not taking advantage of. Like everyone's on LinkedIn, right? So you might as well leverage everyone that, in your, at least your leadership team and your sales team, right? Your BDR teams, leverage that. So what does that look like? So we do a lot of that as well.
Well, you said something that's really important that I run into a lot of. There's so many now, you shake a tree and a LinkedIn lead company falls out. There's like so many LinkedIn lead companies.
Tons, yes.
Tons of them now. And what I've seen is, though, they generate all these leads. Most of them probably are not client avatars or the perfect clients for their client. But then that's it. They just hand them over and like, here you go, good luck. They don't tell them how to engage. They don't tell them how to actually have a conversation that will lead to a conversation that will lead to a conversion. Do you guys handle that for your clients? Because that's really the other half of it.
Exactly. So that's such an excellent question. My good friend, Bren Tillman, who owns Social Sales Link, we partner together. So we're on a client project right now where her team does all the sales stuff on LinkedIn.
Oh,
so all the sales
so
training.
Smart.
It's amazing. And we make such an amazing duo too, because Mod Girl or Luminetics now, by Mod Girl is the thought leadership content side of it. And then her team is the sales side of it. And so it's this beautiful harmony. And we're very powerful for companies because you're right. You can't just expect these people to know what to do after. I mean, I know we're trained sales professionals, but they don't really know. So it's kind of good luck. Here you go. Have fun.
I always say you're doing your client. You're only doing your client half the job if you just hand over leads and don't teach them how to convert it.
100%.
Or at least help them convert it, because then they put it back on you. Like, I can't close these because they suck. Well, actually, they don't suck, but you don't know what you're doing because no one's trained you. So
exactly.
Well, if your partner ever goes on vacation, I can slide in for a couple of weeks to fill in on the sales side. So just I got a little backdrop there.
Love it.
So you being the expert, I'm going to ask you a question. You've seen my stuff. How am I doing on LinkedIn? Am I doing pretty good with my personal
I love your stuff. Yes. I see your stuff too, by the way. It pops up. I'm like, oh, Alan doing his thing. No, I like it. I think you're doing excellent.
Thank you. That makes me feel good. That my new little, have you seen the cartoon I've done, the ping and pong?
I literally was just on it today and I didn't even, I caught my eye, but I haven't looked at it longer than like 2 seconds. And it's right here too.
What's funny is, like, and you know this, you throw stuff out there and it's a lot of testing. Like what kind of posts are going to resonate? What kind of posts are going to get, 100 views or 2,000 views? And just sort of almost by accident, I decided to write this little story about 2 sales mice, because a buddy of mine, I was trying to do some marketing for my sales master course coming up. And I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that just advertises the course on LinkedIn. I'm not that kind of guy. I just, he goes, just do a funny story. And then 5 minutes later, I wrote this little stupid mouse story and it's like taking off. So now I'm writing one a week. And I got this illustrator from the UK contacted me. He's like, I want to draw these. So now I've got it's been so much fun. And it literally came out of no thought process whatsoever. So stuff like that works sometimes doesn't.
And it's creative and it's different. And that's why I tell people all the time, you have to be different. If you're not different, then good luck standing out. And so I love that you're doing that, Alan. I love the illustrator too. That's so rad.
He's great. He's awesome. And he's in the UK and he's really cool to work with because he's just, I give him like, this is you draw, you read the story and you draw it. But he's always like, is this what you're looking for? What should I do this? So he's really, really good to work with. And it's just been so much fun. And I look forward to it every week now because I'm a writer. So it's like, it's forcing me to write. And it's forcing me to write a nice tight story too, because I've only got that much time in the posting. So
I love it.
Awesome stuff. Excellent. All right. So give us before we go back to LinkedIn for a second, and I think we're going to cover LinkedIn or a little bit when we get to our question, because we've got a really good question coming up. But let's say someone, what's like some top 2 marketing tips you would give a small business company? Not personal branding, but like marketing tips. Should they go, if they're small, should they go after advertising? Should they go after organic? Should they figure out, should they be on every social media platform? Yep. What would you say? Because that's a big thing. I get overwhelmed. Yeah. So what would you say?
I love that question. I get it all the time from even locally, like when, my hairdresser, for example, right? Everyone. Excellent question. And I love it. The answer is do not do advertising until you have organic down or at least started. And the second part of your question is do not be on every social media network. It is not necessary. Pick one to start. Where does your target market hang out? Are they more on Facebook? Are they more on Instagram? We're just going to three is really the only ones. It's either Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. If it's a B2B small business, like that's it. Twitter's great to have, but do that after, right? So you have to know where your audience is. That's key number 1 in business. First of all, like who the hell is your target audience? Right. Where do they hang out? How are you getting in front of them? Pick that and then leverage people, leverage the local community if it's a local business. And so it's all about social, really, it's all about posting about your small business and the people that work for you and your customers. Tell customer stories and then start reaching out to the right people. I mean, it's kind of like grassroots marketing with social media. Like that's really the best way to do it, is like grassroots social media marketing that's hyper focused on organic, targeted outreach and content. And so you just have to know, and you look at what your competition's doing too. And if they all suck, then that's even better, because then you have a massive opportunity. If you have a competitor that's like killing it, look at what the hell they're doing and do it better. Put a twist on it, Look at different markets. So you might, if it's a local business, look at a different market. If it's a nationwide business, look at someone who is targeting your same people, but they don't do what you do. Right. So that's another thing too. Leverage partnerships. I tell this to people all the time too. Small businesses. Look at organizations that have your clients that you want, but you have complementary products and services. You guys aren't competing against each other, but you help the same type of people.
That's a great
point.
Why
are you not partnering up with them? That's how I grew MondGirl to begin with, is working with these other agencies and people that did web design, and we did SEO or whatever it is, right? We started doing social media and then we started doing web design. So you have to find partners if you want to be able to scale quickly, because guess what? You build those relationships and it's just, they're just going to keep coming in. Those new customers aren't going to stop from that people, as long as you take care of their people.
Right. So let's talk about SEO for a second, because it's such a 4-letter word and a scary word for most business owners, because, right next to the LinkedIn lead generating people are all the SEO people. There's just a million of those guys.
Totally.
And gals, and it's
in like every country on the planet.
On the planet. And it's like, how do you, what do you do? Like, can you do it yourself? Do you have to hire?
Of course. You can totally do it yourself. It's so easy. Like, honestly, it's so much easier than people think. And this is coming from, I've been doing it since 2007. Okay. So I started online marketing in 2007. So I've got some years of experience, clearly, and this is kind of my jam, SEO. My first jam, my first love, my first marketing love was by far SEO. But people overthink it. Like, I'm going to give like super simple tips here. Uber Suggest is a tool by Neil Patel. It's free. Okay. Just type in Uber Suggest in Google. It's a free tool. You need to have a Google account though. So make sure you have a Google account and sign in with your Google account with this. It's going to limit you a little bit if you don't pay for it, but it's fine. Type in whatever keyword you're trying to, whatever you think your people are typing in, which is probably not what you think. It's probably, a little bit different. And it's going to tell you what people are actually typing in. So you can have these different, search terms. Like, let's say you are a dog groomer, right? So type in like dog grooming, Los Angeles, whatever. It's going to come up with all the different phrases that people are typing in to find a dog groomer. And guess what? All you have to do is take those phrases, put them as titles on your website. So make a page that is specifically says that, like whatever, dog bathing, right? There's all sorts of different dog trimming, nail trimming, make different pages like that, put the title in, and then look at what other people are typing in from those keywords from this free tool and put that in your content. Put it in the titles, link to other things. Like it's pretty, I'm really like dumbing it down, but that's the broad concept of it. You have to know what people are typing in, and then all you do is put it in your content.
So if you that's just, all right, so let's just say,
there's a lot more to it.
I know. Well, let's just say I do that and people are looking up dog nail trimming. That's like the number one search phrase. I actually have to create a new page on my website and then like a blog about that, or do I just put it up as a page that is not a public page? Like, That's a good question. It depends on how competitive it is. So you could do both even, you could do a page and then you could do a long tail keyword for the blog, and which we call, kind of like LSI keywords. So it's related keywords, and then you can link back to that page. So it really depends on the competition level. If it's pretty competitive, mind you, there's a whole off-page strategy you have to implement. We're just talking about on-page SEO right now, which is you have to have on-page before you have off-page. So that's why we're talking about this. But if it's super competitive and you're like, oh gosh, like these websites are, there's tools you can use to find this out too, then you're probably going to have quite a bit of content on that page, and it's going to have to be optimized. You're not just going to be able to have 3 pictures, a paragraph, and a title. That's probably not going to cut it. So it depends. But you can certainly have both too. You just need to pick one that you want to rank for it. But the on-page SEO is just one part of the equation. Then you got to get backlinks, people linking to your stuff. So that I would recommend outsourcing without a doubt. You can do your own on-page SEO, no problem.
But if you're building backlinks, like it's very time consuming. Social media helps though. Building relationships helps, getting mentioned on other like directories and stuff and people's, you can do it, but you can also probably go to Fiverr and hire someone to help you do it too. Not that I'm advocating for Fiverr backlinks because they're kind of sketchy, most of them, but.
All right. So for us non-SEO web design, term experts here, what exactly is a backlink?
It is if I link to your website from modgirlmarketing.com and I link to your site, that is a backlink that you got from modgirlmarketing.com.
Okay. So someone would visit my site from your site.
Mm-hmm. I'm linking to you from my site.
Okay. And then I would obviously link to you from my site. It doesn't have to go back and forth. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Nope. That's a reciprocal link. It's not necessary though. And you want to make sure that these websites that you're getting links from are really high value. So like ModGirl has a very high DA, domain authority, because I've been blogging since 2010 and I've had a lot of press in the, I have lots of links from press sites, Huffington Post and Inc. and all this stuff. So they value our website pretty high up. So people actually pay us sometimes for links, right? I mean, you're not supposed to do that, but they do. Right. Like paid. Don't tell Google. Everyone. Yeah. So that, when people want a link from modgirlmarketing.com is my point of this. Like if you go and get a backlink from this website that just started yesterday, that's a pointless backlink because it has no history with Google whatsoever.
Okay.
So if you pay for shitty backlinks from Fiverr.com, I don't know what you're going to get. Like you have to make sure that you're getting links from reputable websites that are legit and more than likely probably in your target audience if you can, or your industry, right? So if you sold real estate, you wouldn't want to get a backlink from a cryptocurrency blog, unless you're a real estate investor maybe, and you're talking about investments, that's different. But you know what I mean? If you're a realtor, you're not going to want a cryptocurrency backlink because then that's weird. Why would you want that? Yeah. So there's so much involved there too. And that's why it's so much smarter for small business owners just to outsource the SEO, Yeah. Now that I'm like, oh, do it yourself. I'm like, actually, can I take that back? I think I'm going to take that back. I was just kidding. I was totally kidding.
So the reason that you would have a backlink on your site is because you want to give extra value to the people visiting your site to go to another site that is going to give them value. Is that the reason?
Yeah. So the thing is if you have an awesome blog post on, how to train your Pomeranian on, potty training, right?
To sell to the shepherd, right? Okay.
And then exactly, right? And then there's a dog toy website and it has a Pomeranian, but you know what I mean? So you're like, oh, I have a valuable article. So this is called like blogger outreach, which we get hit up literally, I don't even know, dozens of times a day from people from this. And we just like sort through them and pick the ones we like. And it's pitches to us from bloggers that are like, I have this awesome article, Gotcha. Sometimes they do the whole article and guest post, and you can do that too. That's actually a way you can do links yourself is if you're a good writer, or even if you have a freelance writer, go to other blogs that are pretty legit and get decent traffic, which you can tell from free tools if they do, and then pitch them on, hey, I would love to write a guest blog post for you. And then they'll let you most times link back to your website, like this guest blog was from Mandy McEWEN, founder of, and I can link back, So that's a DIY legit backlink version right there, because it's actually like great websites that you could get links from. But you gotta have a lot of those, especially if you're in a competitive niche. Like one isn't gonna cut it, So
yeah.
There's a lot to it. So just outsource it. Don't listen to my advice.
I'm on Fiverr as soon as we're done.
Don't come back to me if you get. Yeah, so that's the thing too. You get blacklisted from getting like links from Albania.
Google is listening right now. Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's talk about. We were talking about social media, and you were saying, don't overextend yourself. But how important? Like I know how important engagement is on LinkedIn. Like the more you engage with the people who engage with your posts, the more the algorithms like that, and it just keeps getting pushed out. Now, is engagement with people who engage with you on other platforms as important as LinkedIn? Like 100%. Instagram, it is? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, for the algorithms purposes. So all the algorithms work not exact, but broadly speaking, the same way. Like you engage in the comment section and it's going to push your stuff back. More people are going to see it, the more engagement you have, right? That's just the algorithm side. But the human being side of things, like the relationship side, like that's how you stand out. You need to be engaging with people. You need to be commenting on people's content. You need to be responding to people who comment on yours, because that's how you build up your reputation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when I coach people, I've been coaching quite a bit on getting them at least their profile optimized and how to start organic content. And I was coaching someone last week and I was like, well, you know, once you start posting 3 times a week, at least, now you have to spend an hour a day in engagement. She's like, I don't have time for that. I said, well, then you just wasted your money paying me, because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't engage. You can't just post and leave it there.
I just said that. Yeah. I said that twice today on my lives and in another podcast. I was like, don't post content if you're not willing to engage in other people's stuff. Like you should be leaving meaningful comments 5 times a day if you can, right? Yep. At least minimum 5 times, 5 comments a day. And that's the thing is you can't expect people to comment, to engage with you if you're not engaging with them. You know?
Of course. It's like throwing your fishing rod, your bait in the water and then walking away, or, getting out of the boat. It's just like, what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah. And no one's going to see it. They all work the same way, aside from Twitter. Twitter's a different beast here. But Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, if your post doesn't get engagement pretty quickly, like with LinkedIn, the first 3 hours are the most important time for, the engagement. Then no one's going to see it. And so you put that hard work into making this maybe amazing, I don't know, it might be crappy content. And then, sorry, it's just there. And your mom are going to see it. Yeah. So it's pointless. But that's what I tell people too. And that's just the same thing with relationship building too, Alan. It's like, if you are just going to post content all the time and you're not building relationships and adding new connections or following new people, we're talking about Instagram here, or adding whatever people do on Facebook now. I don't use Facebook a lot for business. Your group, adding people, inviting people to your group. I do have a Facebook group. If you're not going out there and reaching out to people, I don't care what social channel we're talking about, then posting content is also worthless, because then you're just hoping that people find your stuff or enough people comment that other people are going to see it. And it doesn't work that way. You're going to be waiting for a long time. So my thing is people are like, oh, my content's so great, but I'm not getting sales. What are you doing outreach wise? Nothing. Like, how many connections are you building per day? 0. Well, what the hell do you expect? Like, I don't get it. Don't even post content. That's what I tell people. If you're not going to don't even start posting content until you're building relationships. If we're going to pick one or the other, I'm going to go with building relationships over content all day long, because that's what business is, And so people forget about that. And it's, sales guy. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but people, they get so caught up on, that's great content. And then they forget the whole point of social media to begin with. Being social, right? I'm going
to post content, but I don't want to talk to anybody.
Exactly. The
best analogy I ever heard was like posting content on social media and then not engaging is like renting a kiosk at the mall and have all these great products, and people walk by and say, hey, I really like that. And you go, thank you. And that's it. You just let them walk away. Or you don't even say thank you. You get a bunch of people saying, I like. And it's like, okay, that was it. You just sit in your chair and you look at your
that is a good one.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. We're flying along here. We're already, believe it or not, at 35 minutes.
Oh, shoot. We are.
Crazy, right? Yeah.
It is. I
am going to get to the question of the week, the Ask Alan segment. Okay. And if you know anyone, I'm looking for a sponsor for the Ask Alan. I'm just kidding. But it sounds like every time I say we're ready for the Ask Alan segment, and I want to say sponsored by.
Sponsored by. It does ring well, if you had you can make up like a cool name for a brand.
So tonight it's sponsored by Mod Girl Marketing.
There you go.
You can find modgirlmarketing.com.
That works.
All right. So this comes in from Jessica, writes from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, up in my neck of the woods in New England. She writes, this is kind of funny, I constantly hear about building my brand. Honestly, what the heck does that mean? If you're a small business owner, I can't really afford to do any advertising online for it to be at any point effective. Please help me. Thank you. So how would you
help me? Thank you. Oh, that's cute. She said please and thank you at the end. I already love her so much. So polite. Solid question. And I hear this a lot, right? So in short, your personal brand is your why, your how, and your what, which is basically why the hell do you do what you do? How do you do it? And who do you service? So it's taking your business and just humanizing it. It's really simple. It's really all it is. You take your business brand and you humanize it by explaining to people, like, why the hell do you have this business in the first place? Everyone has a story. Every single person has a story of how you got to where you are, whether you're a professional working for someone or you're a professional that owns your own business. And so a personal brand is just letting the world know that. Really, it's pretty simple. It's just letting everyone know why you started your company and then letting people in on who you are as a human being and then showcasing that in a way that resonates with people. And so, because people don't really resonate with brands as much as they do people. I mean, okay, if we're talking like Apple and stuff, sure, but small business brands, like they're not out there. Like people aren't buying up your hats and your t-shirts and wearing them every day. You know what I mean? Like brand, the way we think about branding, like Nike and Coca-Cola, right? So the only thing we have going for us as small business owners is us as human beings.
What a great point.
So that's what a personal brand is. It's just leveraging that. And what's funny, Alan, is I've been doing this from day one and I had no idea I didn't know that I was doing personal branding, right? I had no clue. I was just a young 23-year-old that started a company and needed people to trust me. So I had to put myself out there. I had to show the world what I know and why I started this and blog like crazy and get all these rankings and, prove my stuff and get people to like me as a human being because I didn't have a choice. So I was a young female in this male-dominated world. So I was, inadvertently growing my personal brand and I didn't even know it, right? Until, I discovered what a personal brand was. And so really, a lot of people are probably doing it and don't even know. And I feel like personal brand also has kind of this dirty connotation sometimes. People are like, oh, it's an egotistical thing. Like you got to have a personal brand. Like, and that's kind of the old school way of thinking about it, but that still comes up occasionally. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Like all it is
100%.
all it is humanizing your business and why you do what you do.
And I would add to that, if you look at, so hopefully Jessica's listening and she said she's a small business. I don't know if she's a business that should be on LinkedIn or Facebook. She doesn't say, but like when you look on LinkedIn and you see the people that, let's say the sales reps or the marketing reps, and all they're doing is talking about their companies, like the company, hey, we just opened a new office on 21 Main Street, or hey, we just won this award. Look at the engagement. They have like 3 likes and maybe 1 comment from the owner of the company. If that same person talked about how they helped a customer the previous week, build their house, whatever. They just did something personal. They're going to have 1,000 views and 50 likes.
Yes, 100%.
Same company, but it's a personal.
It's storytelling.
Post. It's a story rather than
storytelling. Human.
Yeah.
Well, 100%. That's pretty much it. And the Jeff Bezos quote where he says, "Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room." Right?
Yeah.
So that's what you want. That's why you build a personal brand. You want people to say great things about you and how they resonate with you and how you're a real human being and you show your personality and you share stories and you get a little bit vulnerable and you share challenges. It's essentially just putting yourself out there in a way that's benefiting everyone because you're inspiring people and you're helping yourself. So it's a win-win every direction you look at it.
And don't be afraid every now and then to get vulnerable and show your personality. One of my most viral posts ever on LinkedIn was a time-lapse video I did of building a desk with my 12-year-old daughter.
That's awesome.
It was time-lapse and it got 8,000 views. That's amazing. Nothing to do with sales, nothing. I took the old MasterCard. I went, wood, $200, screws, $50, blah, blah, building a desk with your 12-year-old daughter, priceless.
Cute.
And it just blew up and it had nothing to do with anything but that. And so, don't be afraid to do that either.
I talked about that on my LinkedIn Live. Actually, the topic today was content that's working well on LinkedIn right now. And I listed off 8 things and none of them were business related. They were all personal, feel good stories, people getting off Facebook now and deleting their Facebook app. It's all what works well on LinkedIn. Granted, you have to be posting valuable business posts too. Obviously, I'm not saying neglect that, but you have to be adding in those personal stories. You have to have a good balance of inspiration, motivational, personal stories, customer stories, and then value to help people out. But without that balance of that human personal element, you're just going to look like everyone else.
Yes. And that's what you don't want to do.
Exactly.
Look like everyone else. Well, Mandy McEwen, you definitely don't look like everyone else. I am very, very happy for your success. It's awesome. This has been great. Any last two final things? One, any last parting thoughts or words of wisdom for our audience tonight?
Yeah, I have a tip. I talked about it earlier. I'm getting confused on these interviews like you. I didn't have 8 like you, but I had a handful. Drink to that.
Mm-hmm.
So my tip is when we're talking about engagement, I don't think I've mentioned this yet. We're talking about leaving comments. So Alan and I both said 5 minimum per day you should be leaving comments. What you can do to leverage those comments is turn them into your own content posts. So people always struggle with, what do I write about? What do I write about? And that is the easiest way to come up with content because you already wrote it. So let's say, you have a great post you read from somebody and you leave a really insightful comment. All you have to do is copy and paste that into like a repository doc of content, which is what I do when I see stuff I want to write about. I just put it in this content dump. You copy and paste your comments from that day and then every day. And then you go back when you're ready to write content and you look at all the comments that you wrote that you left for people on the last week. And then you pick and choose which ones you can easily turn into a post.
Wow, that's brilliant. Never thought about that. I like that.
You're welcome. So that's my leaving tip.
That is awesome. I hope people pulled over to the side of the road and wrote that down. That was really good. Mandy, how can people find you if they want to hire one of the best marketing people in the country? What do they do?
Oh, thanks, Ellen. ModGirlMarketing.com. Easy right there. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place if you want to connect with me and tell me in the connect to request message that you heard this or watched this episode with Alan. Be more than happy to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Awesome. And spell McEwen for everyone. It's MC capital E-W-E-N.
W-E-N. Yep.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, Mandy, I really appreciate you joining me from Sacramento. Cheers one more time. I really appreciate it. You have the good rest of your day. I am going to bed because it's late for me.
It is indeed.
But I want to thank you for joining me. And I want to thank you, everyone out there in podcast land, for joining episode 53 of Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails with Mandy McEwen. Remember, go to the website, marketingandsalespodcast.com. Leave me a question. If we read the question just like Jessica gets a free signed copy of my book. We'll see everyone next week on Marketing and Sales Over Cocktails. Take care.